Hey, how's it going? So today I want to talk about our ability as a human being, and collective human being energy form on this planet, and our ability to create new ways. And that's really, really, um, for me at this time, and pretty much for the last like 15 years, I've felt this really powerful inner calling to like wake people up to their inherent power so that there's collectivizing tribes that come together to create new models for living. And this is, models for living that at the root of the living conditions there are, I guess, spiritual practices. But of course, even our perception of spiritual practices has to have a kind of ease and a flow to it, because not everyone's going to have the exact same way of practicing. But it's mainly about living from a healed place in mind and body, and creating from a place of unconditional love, so that we're not perpetuating cycles that are creating control, domination, and at their root have fear, and then thus manipulation to try and further entrap, distort, and confuse the reality for people. Having gone through this transition and, still going through, yes, there is confusion, there can be chaos, there can be pain, but it's still all part of this kind of epic cleansing process, this really grand cleansing process where we find ourselves all projected into this body, into these bodies, these human bodies, and on this earth at this time. You can do lots of research about the Aquarian age. You can do lots of research about different planes of existence, different dimensions. And really, it's about speaking up and speaking out, even just through this internet, and sharing the values, I suppose, the insights, the realizations that you yourself are having, so that as we share, we then connect with one another, and we strengthen our mind. We strengthen the kind of collective new paradigm mindset, which has already been happening, over the years. And through that expansion, we activate a sort of broader cellular vibrational reality within our own physical bodies, so that we can truly exemplify the kind of expanded way of living, which of course is like a vibrant, healthy, happy body, an open, loving mind. It doesn't mean that we don't have our unique desires. It doesn't mean that we're all, holier than thou. It's nothing like that. In fact, I would say the root of a lot of this practice, and more that keeps knocking me in my head, is like humility. And just like humility is super duper profound, and again, I'd feel a direct connection with humility and unconditional love. There is no conditions to true love. So how could you not be humble? How could you not have humility and compassion right there at the root of your being, along with unconditional love? Because it's kind of all the same thing. If I'm unconditional, I'm not putting people on levels. I'm not feeling superior or inferior. We all just are, and we're moving through this existence as we are, as we've created, and things are just coming more and more into lightness, into awareness, into more, and I feel pretty strong. Like I'm not here to change anyone or even necessarily change the world, but create a new one. Create a new one from a new perspective. Different tracks, brand new perspective, different language, you know. I mean, there'll be threads of the similar language, but speaking and relating to one another in a very different way. And I know it's real because I've met and experienced people like that. And the thing is, I can still sense, so I know lots of people are going to be kind of gathering their tribes and getting their people together. And to me, it's pretty important right now. I'm having to face deeper fears and threads I have around the financial system, and just kind of owning up to that and telling myself it's okay, and permissioning myself to be abundant and to have this resource of money to expand the vision and the ideas. And even within all of that, to permission myself to stay really true to the feeling in any given moment, and so that I know that I'm making conscious choices within this expansive journey and ride. So I have my tarot deck in front of me. It's my Osho Zen Tarot, which I actually haven't used in a while, and I just brought them down off my bookshelf, which is behind you. And I feel like I want to share with you just picking a card from the deck and see what comes up. Maybe this is just for July. Maybe this is for the next, this is like the next few months, I feel, for the Alta Love community. I'm going to upload some more of my addresses that I have from people, and I think I'm going to plan a little workshop soon. Alta Love Masterclass with yoga, meditation, law of attraction. But also sharing, broader ideas, merging different realities together to see if we can collectivize and sort of dwell in unity consciousness for more, and connect on a broader level so that we stay connected. Feeling like there's just these two cards that, ooh, interesting. So these are actually, I feel, really powerful cards, and I'm gonna share and then read about. So we got, one is the fighting card, which goes with the change card. So I'm feeling like this has something to do with fighting change. God. And then again here, see, if that's my pattern, I'll be like super hard on myself. Like, oh no, I'm not like a perfect spiritual teacher. I know. That's the weird thing. It's like, I think I went through this phase of like trying to be like Gabby Bernstein or trying to be like Tara Stiles and like having to sell and say like this and that. And it's not, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't quite, you know. So change is actually a major arcana card. So we'll start with the change and see what it says. The symbol in this card is an enormous wheel representing time, fate, and karma. Galaxies spin around this constantly moving circle, and the 12 signs of the zodiac appear on its circumference. Just inside the circumference are the 8 trigrams of the I Ching, and even closer to the center are the 4 directions, each illuminated by the energy of lightning. The spinning triangle is at this moment pointed upward toward the divine, and the Chinese symbol of yin-yang, male and female, creative and receptive, lies at its center. It has often been said that the only unchanging thing in this world is change itself. Life is continuously changing, evolving, dying, and being reborn. All opposites play a part in this vast circular pattern. If you cling to the edge of the wheel, you can get dizzy. Move toward the center of the cyclone and relax, knowing that this too will pass. Interesting, isn't it? And actually there's like two little blurbs, so I read that page about the card itself. Yeah, so, and this is interesting, so like the patterns of change, and it talks about becoming mindful and how, you know, life can mindlessly just go on repeating itself. And I think often that's where we often get into cycles where we get really unwell, sick, and depressed and that kind of stuff, just because we're unaware of the fact that we have creative control, we have some creative control and expression in our lives, and until we embody that mindful ability, we just sort of go around the hamster wheel forever and ever. And once you see the pattern, you can get out of it. Interesting, because just the other day I did a vlog, and it was very much about patterns and seeing our patterns. And I guess I'm starting to see some of my patterns more clearly, and I know they're not necessarily serving me anymore, and there I go, and I'm just watching this pattern act itself out again, and I'm being patient with myself, and I'm being unconditionally accepting, and I'm allowing myself to fulfill these inner desires, but at the same time watching the patterns unfold. So, and I know I'll share more. I'm being a bit vague when it comes to my patterns because I don't feel able to totally be honest yet, so be it. That's where I am. You know, because I'm not probably living how a lot of people would maybe expect one to be living. I don't control anything, you see, so it's like, it just is what it is. But I like my life, I'm not saying that. Just watching patterns. Okay, fighting. Fighting. This is a big one, I think. He's all like rigid, right? Okay, so the figure in this card is completely covered in armor. Only his glare of rage is visible, and the whites of the knuckles on his clenched fists. If you look closely at the armor, you can see it's covered with buttons, ready to detonate if anybody so much as brushes up against them. In the background, we see the shadowy movie that plays in this man's mind, two figures fighting for a castle. An explosive temper or a smoldering rage often masks a deep feeling of pain. I know that. Okay. We think that if we frighten people away, we can avoid being hurt even more. In fact, just the opposite is the case. By covering our wounds with our armor, we're preventing them from being healed. By lashing out at others, we keep ourselves from getting the love and nourishment we need. If this description seems to fit you, it's time to stop fighting. There is so much love available to you if you just let it in. Start by forgiving yourself. You're worth it. Yeah. It's going on to talk a little bit about impermanence again and being in the moment, you know, with life generally. Yeah, and I would definitely experience that. Anger is definitely a mask for pain. usually underneath the anger and resentment is like some kind of painful distortion, and you're deflecting stuff onto something or someone that is hidden to you, and so that's why you're getting super angry and trying to fight the world. And that's something for me, like letting go, allowing change to happen in my life, and then dropping the fight. And this is, to me, pretty broad. So this is like dropping the fight with life and myself. Try and stop fighting myself all the time about what I think I'm supposed to be, who I think I'm supposed to be, how I think I'm supposed to be, and just be it. Just be whatever I am in any moment, And that's like the center of the wheel. So it doesn't matter all these changes as the wheel of life spins round and wound. I just hang out in the me of it all and observe and allow. And it's funny because that really aligns with the lesson in A Course in Miracles today is let all things be exactly as they are. There's like these paradoxes everywhere in life. There's part of this conscious living movement that's like, inspired action, take action, be inspired, go get what you want, go fulfill all your dreams, da-da-da-da-da. And then within us, there's like this inner work of being more conscious that means us to allow life to be what it is. Allow, be grateful, be present. Stop fighting, stop trying all the time to make it happen. Just be who you are in any given moment. Enjoy the peaceful solitude of introspection, going inward, just observing yourself from that place of unconditional love, because I feel like that's totally where it all starts. That's what it is all about, is honing in and developing your own relationship with your own inner reality and your own self. Practice being with that inner reality, that inner self, from a place of unconditional love. So you recognize and observe that that totality of your aliveness from a place of unconditional love. No matter how hard that might seem, try to block out all the judgmental, critical thoughts about what you think is right and wrong and good and bad. Be present with unconditional love with what is. And then that presence alone is what helps us come to a place where we can actually make choices instead of just being on a reactive loop. So then when we were able to start making choices for ourselves rather than just falling into the same old trench patterns, then we become conscious beings. We become more alive. I would say it aligns with the rest of it as well. We become healthier and happier because we're conscious choice makers. We're not just stuck in these deep grooves of patterns thinking we can never get out. So spirituality, or you could say just consciousness, is it, It is what we are. It is what we're doing and where we're going. And the more we align our individual essence with that sort of total, unconditional aspect of our own true self, the more life expresses that toward us, because we become unconditional, loving, and total. So then our reality begins to reflect that. Other people observing it, because we're all one, other people can observe it from their own unique point of attraction and say, that kind of looks like fun, or that looks like it feels awesome. And then we link, right? So you align with someone else's thoughts, words, and deeds, and you join that tribe, maybe for a little while, and you see how it feels, and if it feels good, you hang out, and you get into your flow, because the more of us living in the flow, the easier it be for everybody else too. Thanks for watching today. Have a great day. Peace out. All to love.